48.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Welcome back to welcome to podcast number 48. We just got done doing a walk around trophy tour. It's something we're doing, and all the staff members are asked to do, and some have kind of trophy rooms, and we'd like to show them off to our YouTube subscribers. So Jesse will probably spend way too many hours on mine, but it'll be nice when it's all said and done.
A lot of stuff there, a lot of history, and everybody's been different. Some people just shoot the deer, they take a couple pictures, and there it sits on their wall, where other people find 30 sheds off the same deer and have all these trail cam pictures of it and, kill it on video, and, you do the deer justice by showing all that.
Yeah,
so.
Like half the deer, like the first ones we started on, it was before cell cams. I ran some regular cameras, but there was hardly any history, and history is the fun part.
Right.
So
I think that's what it is, don't get me wrong, we won't kick out a surprise, we've both had a couple of those big deer just kind of show up and you shoot them, and
yep.
But yeah, the history is the
history's fun, and it's we've done this for a while now, and it's kind of nice to show our followers and our friends and that haven't seen our trophy rooms the deer that are on there. We had this idea a while ago.
Yeah.
And there's more and more people doing that, kind of showcasing their trophy rooms. And this is a trophy garage, more or less, / podcast studio.
Yeah, it's a catch-all, but it's your space.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people have that, and some people have it all over their house. My house, if you walked in my house, you would not know that a hunter lived there till you would go into the basement, basically.
In the room of death.
Yeah, the little tiny, my garage room or whatever.
Yeah, and I had most of these inside, and then the wife kicked me out here, and after we had our kid, I had a little room, kicked me out here, and it's worked out well. It's got AC window unit, we got heat, so it's nice and cozy. When it's a little warm, that AC does not keep up. But yeah, we're gonna jump right into kind of what we've got going on our farms. It's July 18th, so a lot of the bucks are showing some good growth. We've had some really good rains. We've had some disasters too, all around Iowa, tornadoes and flooding. And
yep.
Our friend Adam lost all of his cameras in the flood, and insurance won't cover him. So that stinks.
Their house end up fine?
I think so. I think he's.
See, my sister lives out there, and their house is destroyed, unsalvageable, unfixable.
That
so
stinks.
Yep. So, on the bright note, they're moving to Ankeny. So
moving in with you.
Yep, they're moving in with us for a month or two till they figure out their situation and get into a house and all that good stuff. So big change of life for them, and they're doing it.
As for a lot of people,
that's all you can do is just if you make the best of whatever situation you get thrown at, and it is what it is, and all the griping and everything is not going to fix it. You got to get after it and move forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are in that same boat, and it stinks, but we wish them well, and knock on wood, we won't ever get flooding here because we're up on top of a hill. But trail cameras, you get more and more out, just like me. I think I try it like every night, try to get one out.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done that in the last few nights, but I got a couple more spots I want to put them.
Yeah, I'm on. You're pretty close to a lot of your spots. I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I have a minimum of an hour drive to any of my farms, so I plan. Okay, I'm going to put one here, get all of them set up, get all of them activated, batteries, straps, everything, and I have to just do it in a day.
And that's a job in its own. People, when we run this many cameras, you got to buy batteries, which you try to find the best deal, the best battery. And personally, I like going to Costco and buying the 40 packs for $20, the Duracell copper tops. That's my favorite. Using those, and then not most of my cameras, I'd say half, I have battery packs. Some work, some kind of, they're old. Some of the newer ones are real nice because you can screw them in.
Yeah, and my goal is every year I'm like, okay, I'm tweaking how I do my cameras. Like I used to put them out June. Had every single one of my cameras out, whether they were a cell camera, a regular camera, every single one was out. I was going through 200 batteries every single time, and you put them out and you realize that you're wasting your time. You might get a picture or two of a good deer or a nice deer or something cool, but in the grand scheme of things, you're putting unnecessary pressure on your farm by going in there and doing stuff. Nobody's spraying down and doing what they should do. I drive to most of my spots.
Yeah,
I figure
and
that's the least invasive.
I don't think that's a big issue right now. I mean, this early, when you get closer to September, it definitely is. But with that being said, putting them out that early, you have all that vegetation growth,
Yep.
and then you get false triggers galore, and you got to manage those cameras. And we've learned over the years where to put them, how to put them, and like as far as like angles go, you know, your highest, basically the spot that produces the most deer activity.
Yep.
And we've had some really good pictures.
Yeah.
I've got a 9-pointer that I hit high last year. He's showing up daily, and I know what he does, so I have a shot at him. But you've had some really good deer show up. You got one funky one.
Yeah, I got one big deer that I've had 3 years of his. This is the 4th year trail cam pictures of. I believe he's 6.5, just based off of the pictures and the history. And he's a big deer. He's by far my number one that I'm going to go after. But it's weird, on another farm, I have a bunch of trashy deer. Like, not, oh, this deer has a kicker or a split. No, like the rack's all grown funky, or main double. I have 3 deer with double main beams. You know, one with a big giant club drop tine. You know,
That's cool.
That the genetics are, there's some funky stuff that I've seen over the 15 years of hunting it and running cameras, but nothing like this.
Yeah, that's neat. I mean, you've day to day. I mean, these deer are going to do the September scramble. We know that, but some of them will stick around, and it's fun seeing what's out there and what's going to be in that 2-3 mile radius of, in November. You're probably going to see that deer, unless you're tagged out. But it's just getting the cameras out, getting them all on hourly. At least that's what I put them on, so I'm not getting that instant battery use on those cameras. Besides one, my security camera on my fence gap, but it's getting close. I mean, we're counting down the days. Youth season's coming. You got 2 girls to take out. I'm taking out Jace. I already got permission on the farm where there's a few deer showing up, so he's not going to be picky. He's going to shoot the first buck that comes out. So it's going to be a fun summer. I need to get him shooting the gun. Yep. Like the girls have both killed nice bucks in the last few years.
Yep. Yeah. They get to shooting, and it's just one of those things. It's really weird, and I've kind of said this. I do things differently than the norm of, a lot of people preach, take your kids, shoot all the time, do all this stuff. I tell you what, my kids know exactly what they need to do. These guns are sighted in perfectly. Hey, put the crosshairs where you're supposed to go. They know right where to aim. Pull the trigger.
Yeah, and they're old enough now.
They're old enough now. The oldest one's 13, the other one's 10. So we're past the checking everything off. Like the older one, when she shot a big deer 2 years ago, and it was like, hey, I ranged it 150 yards with a 350 Legend. I said, put it right on his shoulder and pull the trigger. And she shot him. He took off. We looked. I ended up coming back the next day with my uncle, and he was 10 yards away from where we stopped looking that night.
I'm on the other side of things with Jace. He's only 6, but he did kill his first doe last year.
Yep.
He hit skimmed a couple little bucks like in the elbow. So we've had that talk of where to ethically shoot them, and after that he popped that doe in the perfect spot. So he's ready to get back out. We've got deer in the backyard, and he's like, I want to shoot that one, Dad. It's like, all right, if he goes south to the private land, we'll try to target him. But he's ready. He's got his Nerf gun out. He's shooting all the time. We shoot at little stuffed animal deer and shoot at bottles. So he's all boy. Jumping from there into food plots, I went last night and checked my clover, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's like almost knee high. My sorghum's coming in. I sprayed some foliar fertilizer on that, and hopefully this weekend in between rains. It's supposed to rain. I don't know how many acres it mounts up to be, but it's like 6 or 7 little small food plots. And I got that sprayed last week, and it's all starting to die. So got a lot of seed to put down. I'm hoping we can get the blind up. We got our blinds in. We both got the Muddy Bull steel blinds.
Yep.
Similar to the Hawk, a little different camo pattern. But it's so much easier sitting in those with a kid. Early season, late season, raining.
Yep. It's definitely another tool for the arsenal. Makes things, you're not mobile with them, at least how we have ours set up. You can put them on running gear and stuff like that, but you figure out the best opportunity to put them. I just got mine down to the farm. I need to build the tower. I am putting this one on a 10-foot tower. My Hawk's on a 5, just because how it lays, where my 5-foot tower is, it's on the crest of the hill, looks right down over the ridge. It's perfect. But this one, where it lays, the food plot's got a hill that slopes off into sea on the other side. I need to get up. And I think when it gets set up and leveled, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know if it'll be much for a bow season spot. That's not what it's for. It's literally for youth season. Like this spot is designed next to clover, next to green beans, with brassicas mixed in. So it's literally green, 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 green. Early season.
Sneak in, climb up, and call it good.
That is literally what it is set up for.
Yep. Mine's similar, but it's on a hill and it's between a fence gap, which every single deer uses. My father-in-law killed 2 or 3 good bucks just sitting on the ground there. So we're going to put it 10 foot high so we can see all the fields right at the fence gap. We got to go in there with the tractor and get it level. We're going to put some footings and concrete. So no tornado can push that thing over, hopefully. We did have the one on the Hawk blind. The tornado came through when we were at the Deer Classic. Was that 2 years ago? And pushed the blind over. But it's pretty sturdy. Only one piece of glass actually broke, or 2 pieces of glass broke, and we refabricated it, and it's sitting up, and it's going to be over a evolved turnip plot. So
okay, I got all my plots. 3/4 of them planted this last week in hoping that we're going to get this rain. There's chances of rain for like a week. So I just looked. I think there's still like 5 out of the next 8 days starting Saturday is chances of rain.
Yeah, and all of Iowa is out of a drought, which it's a really good thing.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting to get it in. Like I said, just need the rain. I mean, my corn needs the rain. If you followed any of my stuff, we planted it a little later than we normally would than you do field corn, but we got it in, 0 germination. And by the time we got it in again, it was late June before we planted the corn. So it's probably knee-high, pretty sparse, but you get some rains.
Is that the corn on
the bad stuff was on my uncle's, but the decent stuff is on mine.
Oh, good. I want to say that looks horrible.
Yeah, it's so dry.
It's good to broadcast turnips into.
I did. I broadcasted beans and brassicas in all of it. So I'm assuming that some of the corn might take off, and will it produce tassels and ears? I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it, which unfortunately is a really, really good spot. So
yeah, there's a chance of rain for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
From all the way down from 14% chance to 40%. So
yeah, and
saying there's a chance.
In this time of year with as humid as, like, stuff just pops up.
Yep.
Like you can get a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, if you get seed to soil contact, even on like beans, like a bigger seed, you can get those to germinate. And
yeah, I had some crack open after one. Like I think we got 1.5 inches of rain on my farm the day I planted beans, like just broadcasted them into my bean plant. Went down there 2 days later to put in my fence, and the beans were all cracked and they were starting to go. So
it's kind of a cool. You can definitely do it unless you get a gully washer and it washes all the seed down. I have a plot on a hillside. I just need those light rains.
Yep.
And once the plants get established, they'll kind of hold the other seeds there. So I'm keep throwing out seed. I've harrowed multiple times, but seed to soil, a little bit of rain, you're golden. Gully washer, you might need to reseed unless you're, cultipacking it in or something like
Yeah,
that.
but even then, you get a lot of rain.
I'm pretty lazy when it comes to that stuff. I just keep throwing out seed, and I've had some really good plots, and I've had some really bad plots.
Yep, you and me both. So I actually think the soil on my farm is better than my uncle's that I've been dealing with for years. So that back plot I have, I never tilled it. It was all just kind of dead thatch, and it's getting weedy again. But the problem is I have clover and brassicas in it, so I really can't smoke it. I basically have killed all the grasses, but there's a bunch of broadleafs and stuff in there that I'm going to have to just mow.
Yep.
And it is what it is this year. That will be a 100% clover plot starting next year. So
Yeah, and that's the big thing is you want to keep up on that, and I've kind of lapsed on that on my big plot. The weeds are starting to come back, and I ran out of Buterac, so I couldn't go in there. I just said, screw it. I'm at the time of the year where I'd rather have some turnips. Little weed competition isn't horrible, but the clover, when it's super thick and you walk on it, it all mats down.
you can see your footprints.
Yeah, and I've had more deer show up there the last week and a half than all of last season. I've had probably half a dozen or more bucks show up, and one pretty good size one. So it's going to be
nice.
He's heavy, and then
there's one with big brows too, right?
Yeah, one with big brows. He kind of reminds me of the deer that you called. What was it picket fence? He had the same beams.
Way back when.
Yeah,
picket fence.
Maybe it was picket fence. He kind of comes out like that.
Yeah.
Looks just like him.
Maybe it was it an 8? Was it the Texas 8?
No, I think it was picket fence.
Okay.
So that's the first thing that popped up in my mind. So, which is weird, but
probably right.
Yep, it's going to be fun. Other than that, we got team members out fishing, and we have not been fishing.
We've went one time this year. It's just we've gotten so busy, and then the floods didn't help. We have a weekend to go. Hey, let's go. Oh, never mind. The river's going to go up 3 feet. Can't do it.
Yeah, or you have something going on.
Yep.
You're building the deck. I'm in a golf tournament.
Yep. Wedding. Also, just everything. The weekends are just so busy, and from year to year to year, it's just different. So we'll realize that it's a blast to do. I love doing it. We'll do it when we get to it, sort of thing.
Or we're going to sell our boat.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It's paid for. It's
yeah, that's true.
It's one of those things. It's sitting there. So if we get a chance to go, we'll go. Right. We'll go when we can, and honestly, we should probably take a duck hunting. But there's so many.
If we both tag out, then definitely. Which is another kind of a cool thing that I didn't realize, but now that we're both landowners, and any landowners out there listening to us, if you go to the DNR rules and regulations, let me read it real quick. Deer tags available per farm unit. 1 general deer tag valid until filled using method of take for the season. 1 antlerless deer tag valid until filled using method of take per season, and 2 paid antlerless deer tags. So what that means is you get a general deer tag if you're a landowner for the farm unit, your farm.
Yep.
And it's good for every season until it's filled.
Yep. October 1st through January 10th. There's the rifle season that goes later. You'll probably use it for a doe tag if you wanted to, but it's layman's terms, it's a floating tag. You can use it,
which is completely
it's like a youth
freaking
tag.
Awesome.
It's like a youth tag. You can use it all season long as you use the weapon in season.
Yeah, but you can't hunt youth season.
Right. It's just that's how youth tags are, which is fantastic.
And that changed a while ago too, which is it's nice as long as you buy them before
youth season starts. Is over.
Yeah.
Before it's over.
Okay. Yep. So that's something new and exciting. If you're non-resident, you're probably listening to this and be like, well, what about the other thing? So non-residents cannot party hunt with a shotgun tag. Correct. They can still hunt with a party. They just can't
fill anybody's tag except for the one that has their name on it. Yep. So if you have a doe tag and you want to party hunt with a group, you can shoot a doe.
Yep.
You
cannot shoot a buck.
If you draw your buck tag, you can shoot a buck.
Yep. So that's something that's changed here in Iowa too, which I'm a fan for it. I know guys that are not, and they're probably listening to this, and that's, trying to get big deer here in Iowa, and that's the step that they wanted to take. So,
I mean, it's always been called the shotgun loophole,
Yep.
basically, and I'm a very pro shotgun advocate guy. I'm probably the minority in every shape, way, and form when it comes to shotgun
and
season.
it was a gray area because people were abusing it.
Right.
They were, hey, John, you're a resident of Iowa. Why don't you go buy a shotgun tag? Well, I don't hunt. Well, go get your tag. Come sit with me, and I'll give you $500. And that's what people were doing. And not just a few people. There was probably hundreds of people doing that.
Sure. I'm sure there were maybe outfitters taking advantage of the gray law, even though they know they shouldn't be. And I don't know anything for facts.
Yeah, I wish they would have publicized it before that happened, just so the non-residents, didn't see a blind side coming.
Right.
But that's, it's in the past. Let's live in the future type of thing. Is what it is, and move on from there. But, with all this stuff changing, there's change isn't necessarily a bad thing, unless it's going to hurt our deer population. Then that's definitely not okay.
Yeah, and like we've had group chats with friends just talking about different things. Like, hey, what do you think would be a good idea? Like, what would be a legislation that you would get behind and do all this stuff? And the big consensus from a lot of our friends is one buck tag.
Yep, and I was the same way until I read kind of what other people are talking about as far as putting more feet on the ground to try to pass some other things. But that would definitely help the mature deer. But then you're also going to have those 8-9-year-old 8-pointers running around people don't want to shoot. And, the weekend warriors, they're still going to shoot what they want for the first couple of years, and then they might, hey, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more picky.
And that's always been like my devil's advocate on it is like same thing with the trail cameras, how they were going to ban trail cameras. They backed off.
State land.
On state land, they backed it off. That's going to help because X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, I think it's going to hurt it because if you're a weekend warrior and you only get to go out, 4 or 5 weekends a year, the first good deer you see, you're shooting. So you may be shooting that 130-inch 2.5-year-old, 130-inch 3-year-old that has the potential to be that 190-inch 6-year-old.
Yeah, it also plays a part in shoot what you want, what makes you happy.
Absolutely,
there's like a fine line that you have to thread with when it comes to that. But I think that would happen regardless. Like we used to shoot, we get a picture of a 130-inch deer back when we were first started. We were gung ho,
big deer,
and it's changed throughout the years because we've got to where we're at now, and we're trying to target those biggest deer that we have, and the technology's allowed us to do so, and it's our right and our freedom, and legal and ethical. So that's what we chose to do. There's still guys out there, coming out of high school that 130-inch deer is a big deer. So
and there's nothing wrong with a 130-inch deer. Like we are very fortunate in Iowa. Yeah. In the Midwest, there's statistics that show out there that the majority of national deer hunters will never kill a 130-inch deer. And that just blows.
I thought it was 120.
It probably is 120. Yeah. But that's just to think how many of those do we look at every single year and don't even bat an eye.
Yeah, don't smell me.
Yeah, don't just get out of here. Just leave. Like I don't want you in my food.
Or Snapchatting them.
Yep. Like, taking selfies with them, and it's like there are guys in different states that would kill for that opportunity, but it's just how it is in the Midwest. So we're semi spoiled on the quality.
Yeah, we're very very fortunate, and there's guys that most of our friends in our group have killed 150-inch plus. Like some of them every year. Some of them kill 170s every year.
Yeah, we do have friends.
Our group is a small group of guys, and we're kind of the outliers where we live and die. Everything deer 24/7.
Yep.
And even some of the guys in Northwest Iowa are getting that way.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's every year they'll send a trail cam picture or something like this with deer, and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah, that's
like, really? That thing's that's where you
That's
live?
in extreme Northwest Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so our friends group goes, pretty much entirety of Iowa, and
Yeah.
there's some hot spots. There's also spots that got, hit hard with EHD that it's going to take a few years to come back, and don't think we're going to see that this year with the EHD.
Yeah, as long as it just doesn't dry up and we don't get another drop of rain for the next 3 months, we should be fine.
Yeah, so good growing year. Jesse's got some bigger deer than I got so far, but hopefully I have something
know that
show
always
up.
changes. So I have a big deer. So that's and we have this conversation every year. You'll start getting really nice deer, and mine will all disappear, and I'll get all pissy, and
then they'll show up.
And then they always show up. That September scramble happens, and start running scrapes, and they start getting after it, and
it's so cool though when you get a batch for the group to come through, before September, before they break up, and to see what's around. Like, I'm still waiting on one deer on my farm. I think maybe he died of EHD last year because he disappeared, but he would be a hoss.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I got a couple that I know lived on my uncle's that were very big last year. That if they put on 15%, they are jumbos.
Yeah, and I don't even have a camera on one of my best farms for summer picks yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm waiting. I don't know why. I've got them everywhere else, and it's just I got permission from the guy. Yep, go ahead. Just haven't got to it yet. So
Probably want to get on that in a
yeah,
couple days.
yeah. It's
Get in during one of these rains where it'll wash all your scent away, and you can get in there, set up, and
just so many things going on. We both have multiple jobs. Come home after work, working all day. Got to work again. Try to play catch football with the kid. Got to cook some steaks in the air fryer because I'm too lazy to get on the grill. It's
my kids have gymnastics or something every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, and it's
life happens, man.
They're busy.
Yeah, life happens. It's
and we know that this time of year we'll get away when we can, do what we need to do. But if there's kind of like a sensitive subject, we're gonna lie on. Yeah, let's do the family stuff now.
Right.
And we'll deal with mad wives.
Yep.
We
prioritize things pretty good, and we've learned how to do that. And our wives are really good.
Trial and error.
Yeah, our wives, bless their hearts. They put up with our crap 24/7, 365. It's, hey, I want to go do this tonight. Okay, what time are you going to be home? You got to cook steak. Got to do your second job.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we complain about it, but we're living a great life. We've both killed some really good deer, and we're blessed by hunting the farms that we're able to hunt, and the landowners we developed a relationship with a few of them, and they're so nice, and it's every year is like I've got kicked off one farm this year because I didn't lease it, and they turned my food plot into a cornfield, but I didn't even try to get back on that. It's like I need to prioritize things. I need to not throw all my chips out there random, So I have enough farms. I'm happy. Brad's coming this year. I looking in the future, I hope, Jen has an opportunity to hunt now. She's healthy. Jace is going to go. My father-in-law, probably Tim, myself, I'll be in with your hunts, Aaron. Like, it's so fun having that friendship and those family members that are passionate about what you do too. And I don't even need to kill a big deer. Like, I've killed some good ones. I'll try.
Right.
But it's just so fun developing those relationships and living through those guys on Snapchat and just having the family atmosphere.
Yeah, and that even goes, like, besides the immediate family, like, we have people that message us on social media all the time. I get questions weekly, like, hey, what about this camera? What about, what seed? What would you do about this? Hey, how old do you think this deer is? Like, all the questions you could ever imagine, and I love it.
Oh, I do too.
I love it because, I had a guy last year ask me all summer long, was sending me deer pics, and he ends up killing the deer and sent me like this video on Instagram about him walking up on the deer. He's like, you're the first person I sent it to because you told me to put a mock scrape in or something like that, and I killed the deer with this mock scrape, and I'm like, that's awesome.
That is by far my favorite thing too. I had a guy, he was out west, he was hunting a 200 incher, and that's when I was running a wild game. He was messaging us on there, and he ended up killing a deer, and it was like easily over 200, and he was so happy. And we ended up sharing it on that platform. But I had a guy this past week, young kid, I think he's still in high school, messaged me and said, hey, I have this 200 incher. How do I kill him? I'm like, all right, here's what I would do. And it was find that area to put a mock scrape. Don't just go put it out anywhere. Make sure you get no false triggers. Leave the camera there. If you have a stand close by, great. If not, get one there. But wherever you're seeing him, he might disappear. We might go 2 miles away, or he might stick around. So I hope that plays out and he shoots him. I also told him, hey, you want me to come hunt with you?
Right.
But
yeah, you can't ever dictate what the deer. You can only deal and control what you can control. You're never going to be able to control the deer. They're going to do what they want to do. You just hope you get in the chips when that deer is killable. Because like that big one on my farm, I was going back through trail cam pictures from last year. He showed up like the second week of October at night, and then he was there about every 5 or 6 days. He would just kind of show up. Well, then it got to be the last week of October, bam, daylight. Like the last 20 minutes of light. Okay, now we're starting to get in the chips. And then like October 2nd or November 2nd hit, gone. He was gone for 16 days. And I'm like, dead. Where's he at?
Yep.
Dead. Big deer like that, he's getting killed. Bam, shows back up. In that time frame, I'd shot my 8-pointer, so I'm tagged out till late season because I hadn't owned the farm yet, so I didn't have a farm tag. And he daylighted like almost every single day till shotgun season for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
he was
exciting.
100% killable.
Because then this year, hopefully, he repeats that.
Hopefully, he's dead before he leaves.
Yeah,
that's my goal because I've never had velvet pictures of him, and I got velvet pictures of him.
Yep, and he's got more food there. He's got more cover, safety, and it's going back to helping people out. If you guys have any questions, we're no experts, but we've done a few things, and we've trial and errored a lot of things. So why not have and take away the error and use what works for us anyway? And it gives
you another option,
right?
Another avenue to explore.
The biggest thing is that mock scrape setup, and all of our cameras. I would say 99% of mine. I'll take that back. About 75% of mine are on mock scrapes
right now.
Yeah, and I got the Revolver 360 sitting out in the middle of a plot. There's a scrape by, but nearby. It's not just technically on it, but
right. Yep. And I got a lot of mine on just. I guess I only have one real scrape out right now. I guess two. I have that cedar rub branch that the deer have hit.
But you have them on field edges.
Have them on field edges, buy food for the most part. And just, I haven't went crazy with stuff. Like the one farm that I set up last week, 2 weeks ago, was right by a big bean field. Obviously, I'm going to have it on the edge of the beans. That farm needs a lot of work. They had big winds come through, and there are down trees everywhere in my food plots. It hasn't been touched, hasn't been mowed once this year. It is 3 or 4 hours of chainsaw work, and then having the landowner go back there with his tractor and mow it all. So that also needs to be done. But I'll have my neighbor help me with that because it's his parents' place. So.
Yeah, I got a farm like that. It's my in-laws, and there's, the small food plot across the creek, First Creek Crossing. There's a giant oak tree. I mean, talking like DBH 5 foot. It's maybe more. It's huge, and that split in 2 different places, and we have trees down. And Tim got the tractor stuck trying to push stuff out of the way. But yeah, it's there's a lot of work yet to do. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get out and plant, hopefully in the rain. I'd like to plant on some wet soil this weekend. And
it's getting closer every day. Every day is getting a little bit closer.
You got a new bow?
I did get a new bow. It finally showed up. Went with the 33 lift.
Sighted in?
To 20. Well, I don't have everything on it. I will tell you. So last couple bows, it sounds stupid. People are probably going to be whatever. That grip tape on the handle, shoot my other bow. I mean, it's just your hand sinks in, it doesn't move. I was trying to shoot my bow, and I could feel the sweat in my hand moving, and I'm like, I'm not even going to finish sighting this in. So I just stopped, ordering the grip tape. I'll put it on.
That's the Bowmar grip tape?
Yeah.
And is it, so it's like basically like you're re-gripping your baseball bat?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of guys used to use like just athletic tape and stuff like that, but this is designed, and it's got a little bit of adhesive, but it wraps around itself. And so you could ball it up in one spot if you like it a little thicker, down on the heel of your hand.
I like mine thick.
Yep. So I love it. It's a little thing that makes it that much more comfortable, that much more consistent for me. Same thing with the nose button. And a lot of people say they're dumb, whatever. It's another anchor point that gives me confidence when I shoot. That's what it matters when I'm shooting.
Whatever gives you confidence, definitely shoot. I've never shot a nose button, but I also didn't shoot a release till he made me. So
right. Yep. And that's just the thing. It's not for everybody. If you have a bow that's all set up, shoot it how you shoot it. If you're setting up a new bow or trying something different, give it a go.
I tell you what, I last year switched to the HHA sight, the Optimizer. It's a really long, I don't know what it's called exactly. I think it's HHA Optimizer.
Is it the long one?
Yeah.
It might Tetra. I think it's the
Tetra. And then I went and I got my top hat switched and that short axle. I shoot the triax. And once Mitch told me to do that, took it in Shields, they got me set up. I was shooting at 50, 60 yards like it was nothing. Before my top hats, whatever the heck that means.
Yeah, it has to do with the cams.
Dude, it was so bad. At like 40 yards, I couldn't even hit the target. And I was throwing arrows into the pine tree and trying to get them out. And once I figured that out, I was golden. I mean, I'm at 70, 80, I can hit the target good, paper plate.
Yep.
Before that, I wouldn't even try that.
I mean, and here's the thing. You're not going to hunt that far. But you shot your deer at, 56 this year?
54, 57, something
right
like that.
there.
Yeah.
No hesitation. Everything, the deer, I mean, it's on video. The deer's standing there in a scrape, no questions asked, and you wouldn't even have tried that shot before you felt confident.
And it was literally on the money. Like,
it was perfect.
The deer ran.
He was dead the second that broadhead went through.
Where do you go down the hill and up? It was like 60 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed a lot farther because we couldn't find where he went in at.
Yeah.
But as soon as we found the first drop of
There's blood everywhere.
It was,
It was kind of gross.
It was
gruesome.
it was don't walk on the trail.
Yeah, because you get blood all over your boots.
Everywhere. So you just have to kind of walk off to the side and walk right to him. And he was bigger than you thought. He was a good deer.
Yeah, he was a good deer. Which I had one show up that looked very similar to him a couple nights ago.
Okay. No, who knows how they'll finish out. Good spot for Jace to sit.
Yeah, it is. But I got to throw up a pop-up blind where I think the other farm where you and I went. Yeah, took the side-by-side.
Okay, yep.
I got to go ahead to throw a pop-up blind out there.
Nice.
There's a good number of bucks there, so.
Brush it in a little bit.
Nothing huge, but some nice quality deer.
It's something for him, his first buck, You don't need to wait for that 6-year-old 170-inch deer.
If he comes out.
He walks out.
Yeah, if he walks out.
Might as well just have him try to live up to that forever.
Yeah. Which he already wants to shoot a bigger deer than me, so.
Yeah, that's a good goal to
someday.
have. Good luck.
Someday. Yep. But I guess with that being said, we're almost 40 minutes in. We're got stuff to do tonight and got to go cook some steak in the air fryer. If you guys never tried it, don't knock it till you tried it. It's actually really good.
Yep. So let's get out of here, and hopefully the next couple weeks we'll get some more of those trophy room tours in. And
I do want to add one thing before we go. The earth ponds, my favorite trail camera setup. This might take about 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. Earth pond. We have, I believe it's 150 gallon. It's not the biggest one.
It's the XL. It's not the Magnum. The Magnum's like 250 gallons.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's 150. But every night I have deer come up to that.
I have deer drinking out of mine.
Doves, deer, raccoons.
Yep.
It's and it's holding water. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You got some really cool pictures.
We set yours up perfect. How it's flush.
Yep.
In the middle of a plot. Mine is on the edge of my clover where I had like a drainage washout. I had a little issues getting it all set up, and then we had a gully washer and it moved. But I went back in and got it all set up. Had to put a fence post like at the end. but we've had rain since then, no issues, and there are deer in it every single day. Bucks will use it. I had a fawn, front 2 legs in it, drinking out of it, and there's birds like crazy, turkeys.
I had that big one come up, and that's the first picture. He's down there drinking. I'm like, "Whoa, you look nice." And it's all the clover around there grew back up because we did that dirt work.
Yep.
And you can't even see the pond now because the clover's so tall.
That's crazy.
And I also put turnips, so the turnips are popping up now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
If you guys don't have a pond, even if it's not an earth pond, and you just go make something, put it in the middle of your food plot, put it on the side of your food plot, have a water source there.
Right.
Because the amount of animals coming to it is incredible.
I will have one in that back plot next year when it's clover. I just think it's, even though I have one 150 yards away on a different plot, they will go right to it.
It's sweet. It's a new addition to the, something you guys can do, whether you buy the earth pond or you go to Menards and buy. I think I did this probably 10 years ago. I bought just a round tub.
Yep.
And I went and hand dug it when it was like 98 degrees. And it still to this day has frogs in it, has water, and the deer will walk through the creek, which has running water in it, and will come to that stagnant water. And I think there's some research done. I don't know exactly, but the deer prefer the stagnant water over a running water, which seems really weird to me.
Right.
I don't know why, but they do. There's a tree down on it right now because another big tree we need to cut up. So if anybody wants some firewood, I got some firewood for you. And the tree's laying down, and they'll jump over the logs to get to that stagnant water.
Yep. We just one more tool to make your spot a little bit better, and that's the name of the game.
Yep. And maybe next week we'll hop on and we'll talk about kind of what we're going to do in the future with prepping for deer season. Hopefully we got our blinds up by then. Probably not, but maybe jump in on Pine Road Post. We talked about that last year, but
yeah, they're a little early to be putting them out, but
we'll kind of get you guys prepared on what to do, and
maybe do a list of maybe camera location, like things where you should run your cameras on, September on.
Yep.
Hard horn through.
Yep. Get them cameras ready.
So, all right.
It's time.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Take care. We out.